ありがとうございます。どっちがいいですか？
こっち色が好きだから。
ありがとうございます。こっち？なんでですか？
お目目が綺麗に。こっちの方がお肌の方が焼けてるから。
How am I just learning about the doll test in 2024? I watched this video about the doll test recently and I was so fascinated. And then I wondered if anyone had done this test on Jamaican children. Then I also wondered, especially since people are always asking if Japanese people are racist, whether anyone had done the doll test on Japanese children. So that's how I found this video on the YouTube page of Crazy Illa. So Crazy Illa is a lady from the Democratic Republic of the Congo who's been living in Japan for many years, and I often find her perspectives quite interesting. Hello, I'm Stevie and welcome to my channel. So just a brief synopsis. The doll test or the doll study is a research conducted by US psychologist Kenneth Clark and Mamie Phipps Clark in the 1940s to measure how segregation affected black children. So they used a set of dolls which were identical except for skin color. So every other feature of the dolls, like clothing, etc., were identical. Only the color of the doll's skin was different. They then asked a series of questions to the children, and the children are aged 3 to 7, and a majority of the children expressed preference for the white doll while attributing negative characteristics to the black doll. And then the psychologists concluded that due to segregation, many black children developed a sense of self-hatred and inferiority. And this study would later be cited by the US Supreme Court as crucial in the decision to end segregation in schools. Now, the study, the first of its kind, would be replicated in many other countries, many other places. And even though segregation ended long years ago, the study would still often find the same results over and over. So this lady conducted the study on young Japanese children.
どっちがいい？
マミいるよ。
こっちなんでこっちがいい？
白だから。
白だから？こっち？はい。なんでこっちがいいですか？可愛いから。ありがとう。お姉ちゃんの方は
肌の色が好きやな。
こっち？オッケー。ありがとうございます。
どっちがいいやけどどっちがいいだ。
Jesus is Lord. Child.
どっちがいい？
こっち？なんでこっちがいいですか？
目の色がすごい綺麗だから。
ありがとうございます。どっちがいいですか？
こっち色が好きだから。
ありがとうございます。こっち？なんでですか？
お目目が綺麗に。こっちの方がお肌の方が焼けてるから。
ありがとうございます。ベビーどっちがいいですか？
So Sakura-san decided to do the doll test on her own kid who is half Japanese, half American. Her dad is black, is the one holding her right now in the video. Keep in mind the kid has never been exposed to dolls. She doesn't play with doll yet because she's 1 year old. Compared to the other kids, it took her the longest time to decide which doll she thinks is the best for her. And I decided to keep the timing as long as possible. I didn't want to reduce or, to edit the timing that she took to decide because I thought it was important because she's half Japanese, And at the end of the day, she decided to go for... Okay, watch.
おー、どっち？ あ、こっち？おう。どっち？
She's probably like, get these away from me.
怖いだって。
You know, as a black woman growing up in Jamaica, I can honestly say I've not had any experiences regarding racial prejudice, at least not to my knowledge. I would agree, however, though, that even though black people in Jamaica are the majority, we are treated like a minority. But I would also suggest that we, as in black people, are more the perpetrators in this situation than any victims. So this is my first time living abroad, and the experience has really forced me to confront with my identity as a black woman. It's not that I didn't realize that I was black, but when you live in a society where you are one in a handful of black persons, and most places you go, you're the only foreigner, you really stand out. And it's not that I mind standing out. Well, actually, I don't like standing out, but I don't really mind being different. And this experience has really made me or helped me to understand myself better as a black person and to really appreciate myself as just that. So coming from Jamaica, I think my identity was more calculated around being a Jamaican. I didn't really focus too much on my identity as a black woman. But living in Japan, my nationality is not really the first thing people notice when they see me. It's my race. And many people just assume that because I'm black, I'm African or I'm from Africa. A matter of fact, a lot of people think that Jamaica is in Africa. I tell you a secret. I've actually met people from African countries who think that Jamaica is also on the African continent, and I'm not kidding. Okay, so as expected, many of the children in this video said that they prefer the white doll. But let's continue to watch and see if even one of them surprises us.
こっち？なんでですか？わかんない。なんとなく。こっち？なんでですか？わかんない。なんとなく。はい。どっちがいいですか？こっち？なんでですか？
こっちの方が可愛いから。
こっちの方が可愛い。ありがとうございます。こっち？なんで？
こっちの色じゃなくてこっちがいいから。
ありがとうございます。どっちがいい？こっち？どっちがいい？こっち？なんでこっちがいい？
可愛いから。
可愛いからだって。ありがとう。これはいつものに always they use ね。They play.
Well, at least there was one. Okay, so I just have a little more to say about this. But before I do, I just want to share an experience I had at one of my schools with you. Okay, so I have this one student in one of my classes, and his skin color is a little darker than his classmates, right? So one day he comes to me and he says he has a friend from Nigeria. So I was a little intrigued by his little story. But I was also thinking, this is kind of out of the blue, because at this point I've been teaching them for more than a year now. And I think I've done enough to establish that I'm from Jamaica and also to teach them where Jamaica is located. So I'm not sure if he was telling me this because he thought that I was from Nigeria, or maybe he just thought that because I look like his friend, I could maybe relate to his story. And I was really intrigued to hear about this little story of his, until it somehow got a little weird, because this child proceeds to tell me that he's black as well. So I said, huh? So remember I said that his skin color was a little darker than his classmates. So he says that in Japan, they call him Japanese black man. So, you know, it was funny and we all laughed because there were other students there and we were all laughing. So I guess in a bit to prove his point, this child grabs my arm, places it against his, as in to prove to me that he's also black. And I just found it so hilarious. Of course, harmless, fun, hilarious, just funny. I didn't really think much of it, but I said it to another friend of mine who is also black. And I remember the friend was like, that is so racist. So, what do you think? Do you think that was racist? So, as I said, I found this video and this entire research very interesting, very enlightening. Race and racism are definitely things I've had to contend with as somebody living in an international community. I can't say whether or not Japanese people are racist. I know for a fact that I've not had any experience that I would describe as being racism. I know that they stare at me a lot wherever I go. And yeah, that happens like every day. But I wouldn't say that's racism because I expect it. I do stand out as a black person living in rural Japan where I don't look like anyone else. So I know that some people would consider that to be racism, and I'm not trying to insist to those people that it's not racism. I'm just saying that to me, it's not. I've also had people make some strange assumptions about me because I'm black, like I should have a big butt. And I don't know, to me, that's more because of what they see in the media about black women than them being racist. I mean, I've also heard Japanese people use the N-word to black people. And again, are they being racist, or is it just because of what they see in the media? Because don't a lot of black people use the N-word to each other and it's okay? Maybe I'm too naive, or maybe I think that complaining about racism represents the severe victim mentality that I believe many black people are afflicted with. Or maybe I've just not had any real experiences with racism, so I'm just too far removed from it to care enough. All I know is I've never been denied any of my desires because I was black. And to me, that's the true definition of racism. Someone being denied an opportunity or something that they should be entitled to because of their race. So are Japanese people ignorant about black people and racial issues? Absolutely. But are they racist? I really don't know. But feel free to share your comments with me, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time in another video. Bye.
Yeah.